Hello. Can you guys hear me all right? Hello. Are we live? I think so. Hey guys, what is going on? Our first animation live stream. My name is Rick Schutte. I was the lead animator on Sprite Fright, and today we'd love to to do some animation live, which is exciting. Let me show you guys what I have in mind here. So since we're entering winter time in the Netherlands, I decided to go a little bit into a Christmas/winter theme here and have our character Rex from Sprite Fright and do a little animation with him. So let's see. So we do have a little Christmassy Santa hat going on, and I put on some ice skates for him. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have some fun with Rex animating on ice. So what is the plan here? Let me show you guys. I did a little sketch, a thumbnail. So what we're after here, because I already saw in the comments that somebody was asking for a video reference if we're going to use that. For this type of animation, it's going to be very cartoony, very pushed. I want to have fun with the stylized character. And instead of shooting reference, which is, I tend to use shooting reference more for subtle animation, very much acting. So for this, I decided to actually do some thumbnailing, and thumbnailing or sketching in Blender is great because you can already animate. So let me show you guys and turn off Rex. What is the plan here? So we have Rex coming into screen, do a nice pirouette, and get out of there. So I keep this animation fairly condensed due to the time frame. I hope to, do a 2-hour, maybe a little longer stream and show you guys how I work, what kind of workflow I use. And it, as I said, it really depends on the shot. This shot is very body mechanic driven. And but with the grease pencil tool, it already, gives you a nice sense of timing. And, even though it's super roughly drawn, I'm very much looking for the energy instead of, drawing in all the details, because that's not what I'm after. I just want to make sure that the main beats are fairly clear. So Rex comes into screen here, does a half a turn, hangs a little bit in the air, comes down, does a little bit of an anticipation, go up, does the pirouette. And the pirouette, as you can see, I just drew a line with some scribbling. And I want to stylize that too in the animation. So see if we can maybe add some grease pencil to that as well. And then come down and get out of screen there. So that's the plan. Let me take a look if there's any questions, guys. I try to check the chat on a regular basis. I'll point out once I start blocking out. I might need some time to actually make something, and then in between we'll hope to answer some of your questions. So great. All right. Now, first off, before I start animating, I would like to set up some settings on Rex. So let me turn on Rex, turn off the animation sketch here, and as you can see, this is the camera view. I make sure that it's locked, so I don't have this function enabled, and so I can easily zoom in without losing my camera position, and I can easily switch to user perspective here. Now, how I treat like animation like this is very much go back to the core of the body mass. That doesn't make any sense. Basically a bouncing ball. Okay, if you look at the sketch that I did, it's going up and down, and it's all about the timing of the body here. So let's take a look at some settings on the rig here. First off, I make sure that the rig is as fast as possible. So the quality is set to performance, which is 0. I can here subdivide it if I want to have a more smooth preview, and also make sure that the simplify is all set to 0. All for real-time performance, so it's buttery smooth. Now for the Lattice, I wanted to just add some expressions. So this comes with the new Blender 3.0, where the asset browser also supports a pose library. So let's add some, I would say, Rex is very much into ice skating. Nobody knows, but he is a very nice looking guy. Give him a little bit of a smile here. Where are you? That's a bit angry. Here we go. Just slide that in there. Get a little wider here. There we go. By the way, I'm using a Wacom tablet, for if you were wondering. And also, this is something I really, this is a habit, just to have those highlights not in the middle. It looks a bit like a deer looking into car lights. So let me just push them a little bit to the side here, like that. And then what I'm going to do is mainly focus on the body as for now, and work with the FK controls on the arms. So any IK controls, any stuff that I don't need for this animation, I basically just hide. You could do it in the cloud rig layers, but we're using IK feet and FK hands, or FK upper body parts. So that's why I tend to just manually turn it off. For the chest here, I'm using the IK chest. So all of this FK stuff can just go as well. I just want to make my life simple, basically. This is of course FK, IK, sorry. So turn these guys off. There's probably a faster way to do this, but hey, guys, I just started animating in Blender last year. Wait a second, is that last year? Yeah, like last year, November, I started working at Blender, and so far I'm digging it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to continue animating and improving the tools if necessary. Let's see, shoulders. This one I do use for the arms. If we go to some of the settings here, I make sure the eyes are parented to the head. So whenever I rotate my head around, it's following the head, and this is just because this animation doesn't require any proper eye direction, honestly. So let's get animated. I'm gonna turn off everything here. As you can see, still the skates are visible because they're actually a prop that I made myself. And this is what we're going to animate. So let's go back to the perspective view and turn on the sketch. Also, yeah, I'm not sure if this is a common thing, but I do animate with this gizmo thing. It's just I'm coming from Maya, I admit. So some things that I'm used to do. I do occasionally use G, R, and S to, you know, do some specific manipulation, but this is something I'd like to animate with. So let's go back to our test here. And this is the rough idea, and I'm not gonna rotoscope my own idea. I try to, you know, be free and not stick too much to any of this, because I feel like we could push it even more. So let's get started. So there's the control here. Let's make a new action. Actually, let's just set a key. Yeah, because then it will actually give me, well, it's not not the proper naming. At the show Fright, we use ANI for our animation actions, and then the name of the character, and then .anim or whatever, version 001. There we go. And let's get started. So, by the way, I am animating on stepped at the moment. I'm gonna block stuff out in stepped and see how far we can get with the actual stream, if we can get to proper splining. But yeah, let me check the chat for a second, and then I'll go on and block in some poses, see what works and what doesn't, and then we'll talk later. Let's see, screencast keys. So guys, as you all know, the first stream was an hour ago, and I apologize that happened. We kind of switched to a different setup here. So, and this is my first stream. So I do see a couple of people that say, can you enable screencast keys? And I am not sure how to do that. I am sorry. Wait a second. I can try for a second here. Let me. Nah, I'm sorry, guys. Next time, I'll make sure that this screencast keys is turned on. And this is not pre-recorded. Do you expect to finish it today? I cannot promise that. Let me try. Challenge accepted. Okay. What else do we have? All right. Thoughts on the cloud rig? Yeah, this is still in development. I do like the cloud rig setup, as in like it's continuously being improved by Demeter, our rigger here. And I was actually able to build some rigs myself and try out some rig building with the cloud rig system, and yeah, it works very well. But right here we're now animating. Let me get started. All right, let me get started. No more talking. Let's do it. So from the start, as I said, I have my key preferences set to constant, just to be able to see my blocking and what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm now animating actually those. Let me put those legs into FK here. So we're not even seeing them, but then at least they're not sticking around. All right, so just for my brain, I like to start on even numbers here. Oh, I need to actually. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so I start on frame 2, you know, and then get in those even numbers just for blocking, because it's very easy to block on 4s or on 8s, whatever, and then work the in-betweens, which will always be on the even numbers. So, all right, let's get started. And I'm just, you know, if any of you guys have watched or read the article about the animation tips on the Blender Cloud website. One of them is animate drunk, polish sober. And that's what I'm going to do now. Without beer, it's going to be just, you know, me playing around with the rig and see what comes out. So here we go. So we come into screen here, roughly around there, and then go here. We go down. There's a little bit of a down movement here. So I'd like to plan that a little bit further here. You know, and this is probably way more down when I turn on the feet, but adjusting it later on is pretty easy. We go up. We do the turn. Oh, like there. Look at that bad boy. Into camera. Up, and then we jump up right here. Rotate it even further around. Hang it in there. I'm not gonna frame by frame this, by the way. Let me just get to the point. Around there. We made a pretty much a 180 degree jump. So they'll stuck there. So, and then go down around here. Like that. Then it swooshes. It really has a quick action going on. And it's basically weight shifting, as you can see on the sketch. It's the full weight is on this foot right here. And then it switches over to the other foot. And then it pushes off on that leg. So we really go down here. That. And as you can see, I don't, you know, it's just getting some keys in there, honestly. Don't overthink this, because I did think about it, and that's where the sketch comes from. So I do have my handles to, like, where is it going? I'm not like going into straight ahead animation. I do, you know, but at least you get something to work with. You need those pillars to kind of start building off. So we go down, we go up. And then there's the question, like, which way do we turn? And I would love to actually turn the other way. So we go like here, go up. We go up a little later. Like that. I don't worry about the turning right now. Let me just get the position in there. Oh, there's probably a lot of questions about my keying setup. I haven't mentioned that. I'd like to key everything automatically. So automation is on right here. And for the keying, I have the location, rotation, and scale, and basically everything. Everything that has to be, I don't want to think about every time I set a key to, like, oh, this is location. Oh, this is rotation. So I just want to animate drunk. Don't think about the details. So that's what I'm doing. Going up. And I'm not worrying too much about the rotation yet. I just want to get the position in there. And already kind of, you know, it's probably, and then it's going down. So let's hold it for a little longer there. And I probably want to, end. Yeah, so this is where we go down. And I do want to end up with the face looking to the left. And then it's coming down. And turn his body around. It's like playing with Lego, man. That's all it is. Playing with Lego puppet. And, you know, and then he's coming out of, getting out of the screen here. Let him jump up again. And then he's skating away again. Okay, and one more. Okay, let's see what we got right out of the gate. Turn off this sketch here. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Going down. So what I'm now looking at, there's a little bit of a stair step, and I want this curve to be, it's going like straight and then up again a little bit. So let's make this curve a little bit. So it's coming up, going up, going up even more. Then it's going down. And you do see a little bit of a space switch here. And, you know, if you guys are asking, do you use motion trill? I don't. Not because I don't know how to use it. I do. But I just want to, I'm not at the stage where I just want to be very nitpicky about it. Okay. That end part feels a bit fast here, so let me actually get this one in here. So if you are joining the stream right now, you think like, what is this limbless guy doing? I'm following the animation sketch, which is this guy right here. That's what I'm doing, just so you know. Okay. All right. Now, for the turn, let's see. Go a little bit more there. This switch also feels a bit fast, but we'll figure it out. One feature I want to discuss that I use since 3.0 is the blend to neighbor feature instead of the regular breakdowner. So I turn on the shortcut for the actual breakdowner and switch it to the blend to neighbor feature, which is, let me quickly show you where you can find it. We go to key map and search to blend to neighbor. It's right here, the post blend to neighbor, Shift E, and it's fantastic. So if I go within two keys and I hit Shift E, it kind of blends between two keys instead of picking the exact 50% between keys. All right, so this is something I can work with. And let me, put in some rough poses on the actual on Rex here. So it does have a swoop here, goes up. I think ultimately we can, we have quite a bit of head space. We can push it up even more. And let's add some rotation here for the twist. So that part is what I'm going to animate on twist. And then eventually we need to offset the rotation here. Let's see how that works. So I go up here. So we switch, and then already on this turn, oh man, let me actually go into perspective mode. By the way, I'm used to two-screen setup. I'm very spoiled, where on one screen I have my camera view, on the other screen I'm animating. So switching like this is a bit unprecedented territory for me, but I think we'll manage. So go up, rotate around, like this. Then it's snapping back, so we do go here. It snaps back even more. We'll look at the curves later on. So it's going this way, this way. I tend to not go into full 180s, because that reads like 180 rotations on the blocking. And ultimately you do want to end up with, so now it's just one spin here, and we can adjust that later. So let me actually switch to think it's the Y rotation, is it not? Let me check. I'm always confused by the, I think so, is it? Oh, it's a gimbal, of course, yeah. So it's, I see. We're working with a gimbal here, which doesn't animate on one axis. So for these rigs, I found out before animating on Sprite, right, that having two root controls is actually pretty handy for these kind of twists. We kind of need to muscle it through to get the spins working, because normally you would animate the location on this jump on one control, and then your rotation will be a clean curve. So now it's like finding out every single bone here, but that's, we got to work with the rig. What is here? So let's see. So yeah, as you can see, this is a perfect 180-degree turn, and I tend to, you know, push that a little bit further. And then right here, even more like that. And then it probably will switch around. So actually, let's see. So let's jump up. Turns around. I want this to be faster, so let's go even further like that. Let's see. Like that. Yeah, this is a moment where I feel like, wait a second. I need to, because we're turning around into this full, I would say a double spin. So this part right here would probably flip back when you spline it. So, but ultimately, you know, this is the stuff that can be figured out once we actually spline it. Let's put in some extra poses here, because we're looking at this model right here. Let's see in the chat, what do we have? Yes, this will be available to watch after the stream. Okay. All right. Hey, Demeter, how are you? Let me actually put on some body poses here. So, I need to switch the mouse here, like this. And that will also give us a bit more info on the whole flow of the actual animation. So let me turn off the legs here and the arms. So first off, let's pose this guy into a ice skating guy here. Turn on IK feed. There we go. Wait a second. Where's my? Oh, I didn't turn it on. And let's put on his little Santa hat too. All right. Great. Now for his hands, same thing. I do want to look at something a bit more organic, so I just slap on a, you know, something a bit more relaxed, and we can change that later. And do the same thing for the other side. Here we go. All right. Now, actually, this is a point where I really need to see my camera view. So I'm gonna expand my screen here. Sorry, it's gonna get a little small here, but just to, you know, I need to see my my actual camera view, because this is ultimately what, you know, what's gonna get rendered or, you know, exported. So this is the most important thing. So actually, let me turn off this here, and then it's a bit cramped, I'm sorry, but I need to see what I'm doing, like that. So on this first frame, I'm gonna pose the body. And one more thing I wanna, let me see. Yes, I do want to actually turn on the hinge attribute on the head, so the head will be not rotating together with the body. That will be on the FK settings here. So now the head is actually not rotating with the body. So when I turn, we'll actually stay where it's at. It does follow the location, but it doesn't do the rotation. All right, so let's get some posing in here. I can actually turn off the gizmo right here. That. And you know, while you're posing, you're exploring also a little bit, like what does look appealing and what doesn't. One more thing I want to set as I see this now is that the pole vectors, I do want to make them follow the legs as well. And that is something, pole follow right here. There we go. So now when I rotate my my feet around, the ball will actually follow that too. If you do rotate it too far down, it will flip, but it stays pretty well. Great rigging, man. Great rigging, Demeter. All right, so I don't, you know, with skating, this is not going to be the most accurate skating of all time. Hey, we're working with animation here. We can be a little bit deliberate. And there we go. So now all the controls that are visible, I just want to set a key right where the keys are, where I blocked the thing out. So as you can see, it will not. It'll probably so the feed will probably adjust. Let's see. So we go down here. Actually, this is the down position, so this is where I want to actually move this one forward, and it's actually coming in like that, and then the other feet here joining too. It's coming in like that. And then it does that little jump there. I already want to anticipate with some of the body rotation here. I'll go a little bit back and forth. And also the head, of course. So why do I not have the head on the body orientation, or like the body space? I tend to really control that. So we go down here, go up, and that's where we kind of lift off. So probably we need to go a bit higher. And there you see, like, foot is getting twisted there. So we do turn around, which means that this foot is actually, and again, you know, we'll move things up a little bit here just to get that jump. As you can see, it's not quite far up, and we do have some headspace here. So let's just move the body up here, and then probably here, same thing. So like that. There's a jump here, and then it sets back on the other side. Actually, I'm not worrying too much about the head here. Sorry, guys. Let me just set this back for readability purposes. Jump. And then let's go to the... So this is the key that we set to higher up the body here. And we do want to have a slight arc to it. So let's also move this up right here. And then you see quite a big jump here into the X direction, which is probably shown right here. Wait a second. What are we looking at? Is this C? Am I working in Z now? All right, we're working in Z. Wait a second. You know what? I always get confused by the axes when you're in pose mode versus being in object mode. In pose mode, the Y location is up, and in object mode, it's C, obviously. So that's really throwing me off every single time. But it doesn't matter. It's all fairly relative. So let's see. Actually bring this back a little bit. So going up, going down, quite far there. That. Coming down, and I do want to stretch this one, so give it a bit more height there. And then going down, switching around. It does, you know what? In my head, I already have planned where the feed will be. So it's a bit hard to like explain why I'm now working with this like feed hanging around. But you know, you could say like when you're in the air, switch to FK, but it depends on the situation, really. Like sometimes I tend to switch to FK when I really want to. Probably the spin might be a good moment where I actually go into FK legs just to be able to follow them nicely. But going up here, and then we will land with the other foot. So this one here. So go, turn this one around. Rotate it even more, like that. Oh, did I miss a frame? No. Okay, so this is a moment where I basically go for the blend to neighbor, push it a bit further, and then go down. And I do want this moment to be a straight straight leg. So that probably needs, I want to adjust the height even more. So going up, then this foot will follow, you know, like that. Going up a bit more. And then what I want for the landing is not to have them land at the same time. So we do that switch. You could say, like on this moment here, to have this foot drag as well a little bit more. Have it a bit more like that. You know, and then it comes up like that. And this is stuff, you know, you try to explore some ideas, and every for me at least, every animation has a certain part that's planning and a certain part that's kind of discovering ideas, discovering like new movements and see what works and tweak things around. So that's why I don't go too deep into this rotation part, because it's a pretty specific thing, and I want to, you know, leave that for later. I just postpone my problems. It's gonna be fine. So go down here. I do want to stretch that one. So probably on this pose, I just, you know, push it up a little bit there. And then we go way down. Probably too much down, but let's see how this is feeling. And then it makes it big scoop, so. And here, yeah, I do want to go up a little bit here. It's a bit far down. And now for this foot, let me actually put it here. So it goes down, up. Look at that. Look at this Olympic ice skater. Boom. Beautiful. Let me go back to some questions here. Yeah. Let's go over the chat here. What add-on are you using for animation? Right now, do I use add-ons? I mean, I do have some add-ons installed. I have, let's see. Oh, actually, I need to click here first, and then I do have the animate add-on, but I'm not using it that much, simply because I'm mostly working in the viewport. I would love to have the blend to neighbor function working on both things. I do find it very helpful occasionally, but I wish it was more of an overarching tool where you can implement it into either the viewport or the graph editor, both. So what else do I use? I do have the Lattice Magic, which is a plugin made by Demeter. If we have time, we might go into that, but let's see how far we can get. But other than that, it's pretty much, you know, plain Blender. Are you using the pose library? As I showed earlier, just to get some initial posing in there. For this body mechanics part, it's not much help to have poses in there. Only for hands and the face. So there's a pose from the pose library. Actually, on the face right here. But that's just him looking dopey. Dope. All right. Where are we? This is Blender 3. Yes, it is. Great. CloudRig, is it a plugin? I think it's It is. It is part of the Rigify add-on where you can implement the Cloud Rig as an extension of that. Damator knows more about that. When you download the rigs, it will be included, I believe. So you will have this UI in there. And yeah, there's more in-depth information on that. All right, let me see. Is there anything else? Are you doing key poses? I am animating drunk at the moment. So I try to animate as fast as I can, which is, you know, a trade-off. So I won't be as, what would I say, sophisticated in terms of like what I'm doing here. I try to have fun and show you a bit of, you know, my workflow when I need to animate something very fast. So let's continue here. And actually, I don't need the face. So let's turn that off too. Okay. Tick, and then I want to make that turn. To the other side. And I think we're a little low, but I'm just, so right here, I do want to have this foot already exceeding the other foot. And it's so hard to explain, like, how do you know where to put these feet? And it's a little bit trial and error and like see what works. You could rotoscope or like use tons of reference to get this right. But for this, because it's so, actually I do want to switch it around. I can't say I'm a professional ice skater. I'm not. But this is more of a gut feeling kind of a thing. And doesn't it look nice? I mean, so this one is a bit too low here. So we do switch around, and on this pose right here, it's already turning this foot right there. So that's where, so it's kind of dragging a little bit behind there, and then it goes for the jump. I didn't even pose the hands, but you already, like with one pose, you can feel a little bit what it could be. And there's the turn. Actually, let me. Look at those legs leaving behind. So it amps up for the rotation, and actually on this point, I would have his head already kind of turn into the spin, but we're not worrying too much about that right now. So just wondering, just you know, playing a bit with the general controls, the general mechanics here. So on the spin, I do want to straighten up his leg or his spine there. Even here, I think I do want to straighten that a little bit, and it turns around. When we come into screen, I'm going a little bit over all over the place here, but hey, it's like going. And then on the antic, go a little bit more down. Go up. I want to straighten that. What I want to achieve also is contrast with my posing. So I try to already get some ideas in there of making a C shape here. And then when we push up, we get more of a straight. And then right here, we could actually go reversed a little bit more. And then right here, we go back to the other way around. So it's, like that. And then right here, same thing. So we go straight, curve backwards, curve forward, and then boom. Right, let's continue on those feet and actually do a space switch just to, you know, have that in there too. When do we space switch? I mean, obviously when there's interaction with an object, but also on this point, it's nice to have the feet actually follow the body because they're not attached to anything. Whenever there's an attachment, I tend to use IK. When there's no attachment onto an object, onto a wall or a floor, I use FK, sorry, forward kinematics. So for the arms, I use FK here because they're not touching anything other than air. And then, so when we jump up here, this would be a nice moment to actually switch to IK, FK. Wow. Here we go. So if you make this bigger, you see that it actually has the naming there. And because it's all stepped, it doesn't blend, so I can just put this to, there we go. And now, whoo, it's turning around. And then when we go down again right here, we do want to switch it. So, whoop, it switches on the jump, stay on FK, and then right around here, we switch back to IK again. So, and you can see, of course, so for that blend to happen, you could also, and now actually, I shot myself in the foot here because I hid those FK controls. That's a bummer. Let's see, what do we do? We have some FK secondary. Oh. Nope. Okay, then I guess we just turn on those bones again. I mean, which is fine. Just make sure, because there are no keys on it. I mean, yeah, it's just me for my sanity, you know, key them on this frame right here. There's already, oh wait, I selected the root. That one, there we go. All right. Okay, now with FK, we're kind of blending a bit between. I do still find this jump a little too low. I want to push it a bit more. So let's go back to, and this, you can clearly see like the jumps right here, then it's going up. So this is basically your, yeah, your Y location, which is what it is. Let's push it up here. So, hoppa, we go up. Let this guy fly. Great. All right. Now, what I was looking after is to actually being able to kind of let his feet rotate down a little bit there. And then on this frame, we actually bind them together a bit more. And just to create a little bit more of a dynamic posing, have this foot being bent a little bit there. Ultimately, you know, this stuff, I'd like to push this even more. For now, and then here we're going to actually switch back, but I'll leave that for once we've actually made the twirl more advanced, or like more detailed. All right, zoom. Let me actually not look at that last part, just so it's not distracting. So yeah, right around 45. Boom. Still want to have a little bit of bend. And then straighten it up here. Oh. And as you see right now, when Rex is jumping up, so there's the front, the left leg is actually scooting back a little bit, so it has this big motion to the right and then suddenly scoot back. So what I want to do is kind of make sure that it's actually complete its trajectory before it's jumping up, so you don't have that like going fast forward and then backwards again. So right here, I basically, you know, just move it back a little bit. So now when it jumps, it actually lifts off right at the place where it's like that. Okay. So let's actually look at the spin here. So right here, we're spinning counterclockwise. And the main motion is going to be initiated by the body. So the upper body will actually rotate. Oh. This way around. And now for the hands, I want those hands to be nice and tight to the body. Because right now it's not clean, as you can see. So let's work on this pose, because this is a very important part where the pose needs to be pretty clear. So right here, I want a clean pose, and I already want that rotation to be you know, I want the pose to already accentuate the rotation there. So I kind of, it's like I'm thinking of a screwdriver. So this is something I want to try out. So it's rotating counterclockwise, so the arms are basically dragging out behind a little bit, but also yeah, make that so like it's actually. I don't mind any intersections. I will fix later. Down. And right here, same thing. Like there's that. Like if you rotate something more than 80 degrees or slightly to 80 degrees, it might feel like it's a pop or like it's very hard to read, especially in blocking. So for blocking, I tend to, this is not, I'm not happy with this part. So let's kind of redo that. You know, if you feel like, man, this is not it. So this whole thing we'll refactor. Also for those legs, I do want those legs actually. I'm, you know, trying some things out here. Let's make them nice and clean here. I'll go back into it, into the chat in a second, okay? Yes, let me try this thing out here. So they're intersecting. I don't mind. So this, let me do, oh, is it a key? And now I actually want to work on that rotation a little bit, but let's jump on to the chat. Le chat. Hardware specs. I think it's in the description. And if it's not, it will be there. Which keyframe interpolation mode are you using? I'm currently in constant, or are you talking about the actual interpolation as in the handle type? I mean, that doesn't matter. It's constant. So what else? Hello. Hi. Hello. Are the keyframes on hold interpolation? So it looks like no. It's just blocking. This is blocking pass. So later on we'll spline this. How many frames per second is this? Now I'm working on 24 frames per second, mainly because this is traditionally the frame rate for movies. If you work for game animation, it might be 60, but we'll make our lives easier. What else? How would you fix something like that later? Good question, man. That's all about fixing problems, I guess. No, I you know, watch. We'll fix it. It's, you know, I find doing an animation shot, and this is a bit different, all right? I'm kind of making decisions as I go as fast as possible. Normally, I would take a bit more time and think about it. Now, but I've animated quite some years now, and I kind of trusted myself that however I screw it up, I managed to fix it. So, yeah, it's like trust gained by experience, I guess. So, and that's something it's actually something I would recommend, to be confident that it will be looking all right. That sounds weird and very magical, but it's not. But you gotta go through those hard keys, I would say. And especially when we go into splining, which I'm not sure, maybe we we'll do some splining today. When you go from your stab blocking to spline interpolation, yeah, that's where stuff, the computer tries to interpolate your keys or your ideas, and it will look horrible. So it's a very mental kick in the face, and that's where you need to make it beautiful on once. So, all right. What else? What is? How old are you, and when did you start doing animation? I'm 32, and I started animation. I mean, I started learning 3D in university, which was 2007. And then I did do a lot of generalist things, like anything from modeling to rigging to the whole thing. You know, that's what you learn at university. And then I specialized into character animation, did some online courses. And yeah, that's where I really got into character animation. All right, let's continue here. So let's work on that spin, because that's a question here. So we have that pose, and now don't be afraid, because we're still kind of animating drunk here. Don't be afraid to kill. That's, oh man, we're gonna get banned of YouTube. No, don't be afraid to kill your keyframes. All right, delete. It's all gone. All right. It is a bit tricky, I gotta admit, on animating with one global control, or like with one body control. So like a spin like this will probably need to be hand animated. But let's see how this is going. I want to do 2 spins, so let's animate. Actually animate this. And this is basically stop motion, so rotate. So it's going there, then we're back here, so that doesn't make sense. We actually want to rotate like that. There we go. Let's rotate a bit further. Oh man, like there you go. There. And then you, let's delete it, because we want it to be all adding up. So we switch here, and we do have some gap here, so we probably do an extra in between later on. Jump, rotate. This is a bit eyeballing at the moment, because I want to see how it feels. One turn. Go back a bit. There we go. So what I try to do here is we want to kick in the rotation of the jump and then ease it out and then come down. Okay. So as you can see, I didn't animate any of the body or like the But now it's just the rotation. I just isolated the rotation animation here just to get the right speed of that going. So right here, and then probably on the next frame, yeah, that's where we go down. So we rotate it even further. I mean, okay. Now, we do want to end up, let me turn on my sketch again, right around there. Yeah, somewhere around there. Okay, let's go and take the body control. Actually, turn it on. And then move it around there. Somewhere around there. Okay, now what I do have right now is I have my final key where I want to end up. I'm going to adjust my location keys to make this arc happen. So we go into, as you can see, they're all keys, and you know you're in position, and it's going to be fairly, like, the speed of the jump is going to be fairly linear towards the right, and we can play with it later, but you know, there's probably something here where you could, you know, tween it. That's probably tweening it all, eh? Yeah, okay. I'll do this by hand. And for this, I tend to use the actual I use G and I just to stick to the actual keys. So I'm not, if I hit only G, it will go around, and that's not what I want. So G, G, and then Y for those who are wanting the the keys to be visible. Sorry. So something like that. Well, look at that. Let me actually extend the frames here. Okay, so that's my sideways motion, and then we go to the Y keys here. So it jumps up, big jump, continues. And let's make it, I'm just looking for roughly an arc. So go up here, a little bit up here, go a bit more down. And this one probably go down a little bit faster. So we do have a fast. I do feel still that it's that's actually traveling a bit too far. So let's take a look here. Yeah, it's traveling quite far. A little bit too far for my taste. It almost spins out of screen. So let me, you know, take those keys. You could actually blend it to neighbor if I deselect this one. And it will, let me actually go to the last frame here. And just move it down a bit, see how that feels. Actually, let me turn off the sketch just to not get distracted by that. Yeah. However, I do I do want to end up the other way around. It's all a big puzzle, isn't it? So on this frame right here, I do want to end up with a pose like that. So how are we going to do that? I have no idea. Probably rotate it even further on that jump, and then we end up on this frame right here. We'll see. I mean, not happy about that. No. Let's turn it even further. I'm just gonna extend the turn here. So, but then we end up on his back. Hey? So this is some live decision making, trying to find nice readable poses. Because what I do, let me go a bit about the process when I'm in right now. You always tend to, when you do any performance, you want to make sure that it's readable to the audience. Whenever it's fast action or dialogue, you want to make sure that your character is very clear and as simplified as possible. So shapes will be heavily simplified in action scenes because they go so fast. And in order to follow the action, you want to, read a face, read a fist, or, read a motion in general. So what I'm figuring out right now is what I like. Okay, what I like here is that we're actually having this hang time. So we do the spin, and we have a moment here where we actually see his face. And then we go down. And then here again, I do want to see his face, and we don't. But then again, let's see. Let's see what happens if I just... And it's a puzzle, man. It's a puzzle. I just want to animate his body first. I don't care too much about rotation. So... settle him down. This could be a stretch, actually. And then we do turn it, but not as far. Push it in. Then right here, we do slide him over like that. We do see him profile, so it's like zoom. It goes backwards, and then we see his face. Go up. Boom. And then right here, we do turn around. Let me key it here. So we end up of him kind of skating away. Going up. there will be some cheating going on, guys. And that's where, you know, smear frames and anything that's, especially this fast action. So we have it right here. When we kind of go through this action right here and then go up. Same happening here. I actually want his body to go even a bit more like that. Go forward. This this might not make sense, guys. But let me explain in a second what I'm after. Go up here. And then there. So he's coming down. There's a little turn there. We'll work on his face there just to make it a bit more readable. Okay, let's finish the feed here, and then I'll check the chat, and I'll explain a little bit about my thought process on how do I come up with motion and where to put things. So we come down here. He does the twirl. Then, yeah, you might not even rotate that far and just placing his feet just so we see what like that, something like that. Just see what happens. So down. Okay, then he does the turn. How does this look, guys? How do you make something out of this? It's gonna be good. Go back a little bit here. Switching from IK to FK, hey. I would say, oh man, his body. Look at that. Let me actually turn that back a little bit. His body's a bit broken. So right here. Okay, so we come down. And he comes down in a very awkward angle, I gotta say. Because now it's almost like he's off balance, so let's see how to fix that. Isn't animation the most straightforward thing ever? It is. So we slide. No, it's not. I do want to end up there. And it's like... I don't even care about the foot contact at this point. I'm just looking at some strong poses that kind of catches the body here and see if we can. Yeah, and kind of like work my way. This body actually. Yeah, that turn is that. It does turn around, and this foot will scoot over, and this foot will actually push behind there, and there it catches up. It still looks a bit broken, but I do feel like we got something here. So let me, you know, this one, move over. So it goes into this swoop. And then gets out of frame. But it does go out of frame backwards, which is I mean, let's just go, let's not make things too, I mean, I could, you know, turn him around, but because we're so close close to the edge of the frame, I just want to get him landed, and this is kind of like how we're exiting frame, you know. I want to make things too complicated here. So let's lift him up a little bit. And he's rotated quite a bit this way. And I still have those arms, you know, into this twisted form, but hey. Okay, so that's it. And then, you know, we go there. Oh, we want to go actually move that backwards. And then this is going to be the easy part. Just move it out of screen. Roughly. We'll play with the timing a bit, and then here, get it all the way out of there. You know, it does still feel awkward. We'll figure that out, but at least we have our fundamental motion in there. And I do see, like, this moment right here, there's a big gap that I would love to spend some time on. But let's go back to the chat real quick, and then I'll explain a bit about my thought process, because it might be a little bit mysterious, isn't it? Okay. Man, animating life. Something else, eh? Let's see. A lot of discussion with the matter. What's Cloud Rig though? That is the rigging system and rigging UI that I'm using right here. So maybe it's been discussed already, but it's basically the rig setup that's been used for Sprite Fright, where all of our settings are yeah, like layers, switches, FK, IK switches, and whatnot. So that's called Cloud Rig. It comes with the Blender rigs, so you could try them out yourself. And it's also free, so you can download the plugin, or the add-on, sorry. Okay. Can you make a suite of Sprite Fright? I'm not sure. Maybe? Anything else? Why not use a real human model to sample the movement? Yeah, but what's the fun of that? We're not mimicking real life. We're creating life. All right? It's much more fun to... It's, you know, the thing is when you rely too much on... And obviously I'm, you know, finding and exploring motion here, which is a bit more tricky. But I try to deliberately stay off any real footage reference because I want this thing to look very organic and cartoony. So let me show you a little bit of what I mean with that. Just a bit. What time is it? Okay, 1.5 hours away. I mean, we're on our way, 1.5 hours. So, here we go. So what I'm looking for, and let me actually open up the annotation. I'm looking for general shapes that kind of flow into one another to mimic, or like to accentuate the motion. So let me actually turn off bones here. So when we come in, I mean, we go into this kind of squash, what's happening right here. And we can push this way beyond, of course. Now we go into a stretch. We settle into something a little bit more like that. Go back into a stretch. And again, this is blocking, so we'll push this around. Push, then go down, and then really, you know, go back into the stretch. Even more stretch. And again, I would love pushing this into the, sorry, even more stretch, even more squash. Pushing it up to this nice little quirk, like, what do you call it? Twist. And then right here, you also go into squash again. So it's finding the contrast of motion. And if I turn off the character, maybe this look weird. It does. But you see, like, I'm looking for the overall shape to deform in a very dynamic flow instead of perfectly being bound to body mechanics, because I mean, yeah, it's a different purpose, I would say, and I know people are very, you know, strict or like bound, or like, what do you call it? They swear by video reference or anything, but for this, it's less technical and more fun to do it this way as well. And you know, you struggle a bit, but you find solutions here and there, and hopefully, yeah, push through that phase. Let me actually kill that, and then, I mean, this is fun too. Look at that, invisible, invisible snowman, invisible Rex. I mean, okay. Now let's continue. So we still are. Oh, I still have the. There we go. Push back a little bit, like that. All right. I just want to finish that end part, just ending on something a bit more believable. I mean, down here. And here, instead of, you see like it's leaning backwards a bit, so I'm just, you know, pushing it this way. So the center of gravity is actually catching up on character. This pose, you might be a little bit off balance still, like that. Just to kind of follow the trajectory of the motion and make that more fluent. So we go down, and then this might be way too extreme here. So actually, let me, this is, I like the, it's just a bit of a, let me move this over, and then push that back a little bit. Let's see. Ooh, that's working. But basically, push that back a little bit. And then it's stuck there, so. That's weird. Okay, let's not do that, hey. I was thinking of make that transition a bit more fluent and actually have this pose in there. We can eventually push it towards this pose a bit more. But this frame from here to here is a bit violent. It snaps more from one pose to the other, so let me actually, so here we already kind of turn a little bit there. It's still there, eh? Okay. I think. There we go. And this is just for this pose. Let's create a bit more up and down. It's coming down. And as you can see, like the legs here are pretty straight, and then suddenly that's something we work on later on those transitions. Push. So going down here, you know, why not push it? Why not push it even further down? Just and then here, push it down a bit more, rotate a bit forward. I'm doing sound effects as well, by the way. And then coming up again. And we can actually come up a bit higher. Yeah. All right. Next stop. Let's actually push the poses a bit more and make them a bit more readable. Also, the face isn't, or like the head isn't animated, but at least we get the main motion going on here. And again, you try to work from very rough to very defined. So, you know, you don't want to spend too much time working on the fingers, or you know, you want to feel the energy, feel that the energy of the animation is right before you dive into any nitpicky stuff. And yeah, this feels pretty cool. We do have some frames here missing, so let me shorten that. So now we know. Now for that beginning part, pushes off, rotates around. I think I do want to rotate around a little bit. Let me try to actually animate and not talk, just to see what comes out of that. All right, just give me 1 sec. Before that, let me turn back. Make him do a backflip. Sure, give me 1 week. Okay, I'll just animate, guys. Okay. So for this arm, I wanted, I start talking again. I guess I just talk to myself then. Right here, I want to lead with the body. So push on the body a bit more. Go a little bit more straight here. We do hit a little bit of a wall here going up. We'll work that out later. Let's work on the arms. So again, this pose is really, I'm trying to make the shape, basically the stretch as straight as possible, you know, just make that a very straight line compared to the squash, where I'm actually making more. Yes, this is squash. Yes, I'm just mixing up terminology here. So make him a bit more. Right here, I do want to get some rotation in there. Same for this arm. Oh, that's on a wrong frame. Let me push that back. Actually, I did want to. It's too early, I think. Then when we come down, we bring up those arms a little bit to kind of catch up the apex, or like the follow through of those arms. So actually having this one fully straight is a bit weird. So now this one feels a bit weird too, but so let me push this down even further. And we do need that extra frame here. So I'm going to start also to block things out on 2s. Going up. Here I do want to stretch the body a bit, so already pushing stuff there. When we jump, I do want to this foot a bit more below there, so it comes in. I'm not actually not that happy with those arms going too straight. So it's like, whoop. It's just because it's rotating and makes it a bit robotic. So make those arms a bit. And this switch of the hand reads a bit weird too, so probably on this frame. And also I'll make that adjustment. So you see where the hand is going a bit better. Now we're landing here, and then get that arm out there. Oh, wrong frame. And then swish it back the other way around. Yeah, and there we definitely need those extra frames. This feels a bit fast too, somehow. Maybe it's because we need that extra frame. Let me put that in here. Basically, adding that extra frame on frame 0. It doesn't. It's just a playback. It doesn't play the first couple of frames properly. When I loop it, it does look a bit better. Okay. So on this frame, I'll just push it back up. Ooh, nothing. This is local rotation, or how do you call it? Local. I'll go to global, pushing everything the same direction. And speed, let's push it back a little bit. And then there's that big speed bump. Try to space it out a bit even more even. So now. All right. And this from here on, it's just, you know, looking for cool ways of flowing the motion. Flowing the motion. Wow. I hear myself talk. Great. Yeah, it's this switch right here. So it lands. We need that in between. So first off, let's see what the Blender neighbor will make of it. So I'll just take all of our controls, our main controls, hit Shift E. Look at that. Nothing. We don't have to do anything. The computer is doing all of our work. So right here, actually, let's not use this key right here, like that, just to get the idea. So, and then move you over a bit more. Oh, wrong frame. Just looking at the motion here. Adding that in between really makes it a bit more flat. So, and also, yeah, the ice is a bit sticky. So what happens if we just push it down? So the arms go up. There's the antic, and I wonder if we can even push that. Arm up again, a little bit more. Right here. This is a terrible pose, as you see, but I'm just looking for the flow. We'll work out that pose later. So let's see, let me push this one. And then right here, we actually need to move because it's ice. Move forward, and then it's moving backward. But that's fine because it's kind of like pushing off. And then here, go into that. Oh, we do still have that problem where I was pointing out earlier. when the eyes, like the foot is, let's see, pushing, and then the next frame it's kind of like stuck there. So let's push it back a bit more. And then right here, let's see if I actually rotate it like this, a little bit towards camera. Nah, that's terrible. Actually, we're coming from this pose, so let's pull it even more back. I don't mind any destruction like this. I'm not looking at the character at all. I'm looking at motion, okay? I look for motion instead of breaking things. Every bone that's available for me to break the rig, if it gives me the right motion, I don't mind. Anyway. Yeah. I feel like this. It's shifted, of course. I'm like, why is it not moving? But it's FK, and we switch to FK here. Now, going down here, add the hand a little bit more up. Even we don't push it like that. And here, I want this hand to be kind of leading the motion upwards. So it's already so what I'm looking for here is the motion. So from here, let me get the annotation tool. I want the hand to kind of make this trajectory. So on the next frame, it's going down a bit, but it's like it make the arc up and then goes into the next move, just to make that motion read and feel nicely. Nice. How do we even get rid of these drawings, eh? I have no clue. I'm just tool, annotate, view. I'll just unmute. I like hide. And T. All right, let's go back to and it's already rotated quite far, and that's hard to read here too. And shit is broken here. I don't mind. So we push it, and it's already rotated quite far. So let's push that back a bit. Actually, just playing around a bit with same here. We already also go into that. But basically, this arm, even though it's the other arm, we do want to kind of connect it to that other arm, because that other arm is this one. So right there, even though it's rotating, it like gives us, and this I avoid, so now it's sticking into frame. You really see that there? Probably we need another frame here. Yeah. Also the all right. How's everyone doing? Is this still the blocking stage? That's a good question. We do. This, I would call this blocking plus. So it's a little bit different because it's not production. It's not a production shot. If you are in a production shot, I would show a pass like an hour ago. Maybe that pass wasn't that good to the director, but basically to actually, yeah, the first pass I would actually show is the sketch, the thumbnail one. If that gets an approval, I could block it out. But the thing is with blocking and splining and all the phases, it's blending a bit, and I would say I'm blocking plus right now. I'm getting all the more detailed ideas in there, and from there on, I'll jump to. I'm blocking on 2s at the moment, so. Hey, Million, good to see you. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Right here. So we come down to this very squashed pose. Then we push out of that. And just something I, try to trail that a bit with this arm. So I just push it like that. And then right here, what happens if I just continue that as well with this arm? It's a bit high though, so let's push it down a bit like that. Yeah, the rotation part I still need to work on. Especially that first bit, I feel like it's not feeling right. And then once we continue that rotation and we come to an end here, I want those arms to actually lift more. Why? It's like a... why? I mean... I'm talking to myself here, man. I'm getting insane. Pushing it up. And then... this is a pose that I will probably blend between while I'm coming out of this rotation. So maybe this one actually, we'll see. And then this is a kind of our apex point. So the hands are overlapping a little bit here. Oh, that's... and pushing down, up. So it's like, shoulder does feel a bit busted, gotta say. Let's see. I'm just blending a little bit here. Pushing it backwards. So yeah, it's almost like a, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any analogy to kind of explain why I kind of open up. It's like you go from this very straight, small shape, and you want to open up on the apex. Man, I don't know. You try what feels right, and then so you open up here. If you were thinking of something, or like thinking of learning something here, maybe you have more questions once you leave. But hey, that's not a bad thing, I guess. Or maybe it does. Ah, man. What if we actually already rotate this arm? Come down. Nah. Actually want to get away with this arm here. And instead of making him kind of in this very awkward position, let's move him up a bit. And move him up here to a little bit. Oh. Yeah, nice. Come down. And same here, like, because his arms are out, this is a bit weird, eh? You do want to follow the motion somehow with the whole body. So it's coming down here, rotating a little bit back, turning around. Not, I mean, that. I gotta say, guys, animating and live television, that's something else, eh? So, but we're getting there. Hey, we're getting there. I'm having fun. I hope you guys have too. So right here, we might be a bit too low. So push that back a bit and get those hands so we end up right. Coming from up here, then coming down. It's a bit stuck there. going into this. And same here, like as we land, we get into an arc that I like. I like arcs, okay. So we go into this arc and it doesn't, wait. Oh, I hit it, of course, great. I'm like, what? Let me actually create a new one and then delete this one. Get into this arc, and we kind of want to follow that arc with the body. So, and this is not the shape right here, so push it back. So right here, same thing, like the body, we still follow this arc, and we rotate within that arc. So even here, I would love to add in some rotation, and then we flip. It's just to make one shape towards the other feel organic, and that's all, folks. That's animation for you. Shapes moving into other shapes. So, like this. And then we come here. Oh. And then it comes up again. I do want to lift his body here. And we haven't animated his head at all yet. Turn off the annotations here. Is there a shortcut for turning on and off annotations? Probably. I just don't know. I'm just a simple animator here. I only know how to put in keys. Now this switch feels a bit weird still, so it goes down. Probably wants, let's see if we can just move this arm up here. And then, yeah, there you go. There we catch up. Whoop, like that. Now, move the shoulder up. And because we're facing away from the camera, I don't mind pushing up the shoulder, even though it's broken. But hey, we only care about motion here. I mean, that's what I do. And we'll fix it later. Actually, I do want to rotate him a little bit more towards camera right at the end. I mean, okay. Now, okay, what's up with the questions? Man, I hope someday I could make a character that complicated. Yeah, man. It's not that complicated, just, I mean, what do I know about making a character? You can do it, man. Come on. Just put in the hours. Put in the hours. Can you show you how you animated the boombox guy getting drowned in pee? That was actually not me animating it. It's done by Daniela, one of the animators on Sprite Fright. So, reverse playback. Yeah, changes your rotational velocity, like when dancers close their arms to spin. I guess, yeah, that might be it. He's on auto key. Yeah, man, I'm a lazy animator. I don't think about my keys. I just hit key every time I know. Oh, well, I don't hit key. I just move my character. Anyway, we're over 2 hours. If you guys still like it, I'll just continue until, well, let's do half an hour for now, and maybe do a second part later on. Of course, this isn't finished at all, but at least we're quite a long way through, getting some basic ideas in there. I would love to push the animation more and even, you know, work on those shapes a bit more extreme. So let's continue for half an hour more and then call it a day. So for the head, I probably want to, let's see. We can counter animate this, that's fine. So what I'm going to do now is basically pose the head a little bit towards the so like, you know, pose the head, and see. Well, look at that. Push it down a bit, but also towards camera. Then right here we do rotate, but I do want to rotate, like delay his head a little bit. So it's kind of like it's hitting this pose and then pretty much staying in that pose on profile. Then we just want to delay the head a little bit, push it a bit more out. And then this is where we go down. So right here, we already kind of, I was about to say we already anticipate on the spin there, but, and this is one of those poses, so I think I still, yeah, if we're going to spline it, we need that extra frame. Maybe I block it in already because it's a bit snappy, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with snappiness. So what I do here, instead of this pose, I try to make his face visible, maybe even counter, like rotate it like that. That's weird. But maybe not. Let's see. Because we do, yeah. It's tricky, the counter animation. I'm not, maybe I convert this to world space rotation. But let's see how this is turning out. So here we do the switch, pushing the head up a little bit just for readability. So by default, it's right there. And I just want to push it up a bit. And then right here, we go down here. And then I do want to rotate it up already. Like that. A little bit facing more towards camera. Same here. Yeah, there's this part here. I need more frames to make that nice and fluid. I mean, of course, it's still blocking and it's on 2s. And then this is a little bit of a head bang, like boom, boom, and then going up. So instead of going that far down, maybe rotate it a little bit more up. Ooh, like that. And then move it back a little bit. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, it's this part right here. Feels a bit too... You could, you know, it's not the worst, but it's this part. Let's do something wild here. Maybe not. I was like, let's get a quick smear frame in there, but that's not gonna happen. Smear frames we probably need to. Let's see what happens if we actually push this motion up a little bit and make that rotation. Basically add that in between on one frame. So it's like, yeah. Let's see. So right here, I do want to switch it. I don't want to look at the backside of his head. So on this frame, we swap it around like this. Not fully, but at least. So it's like, and then right here, I do want to already see some of his facial features. All right, some chats. Who did the rig? That is done by Demeter Zadik. He's a rigger here at Blender. Kind of humans. Did you use reference to draw the stick man? If you did, show it. I did not. I did do a lot of dancing animation, so I did know what kind of moves I wanted to do. So I drew from my experience and memory, I guess. My ex is a figure skater, crying emoji. That's sad. Sorry, it's sad. Animate the red hat. Yes, that's something we will get to probably next chapter. What is the next animation project gonna be? That will be announced as soon as possible. So I'm just gonna tweak it until the end of times. We'll do another quick Q&A thing, so get your questions in and see how far we can get with this. It does get in a little linear, so that's pushing it up. I'm just gonna tweak things around here. Now you see this arm, there's no curve in there, but what I want to do as well, when we push it around here, make it nice and bendy so it will follow as well. Very cool. Let's work a bit on this part right here. It does feel like it's sticking a bit here. As you see, well, of course it's not really sliding. It doesn't need to be, you know, full speed, but at least we need some motion. So first off, maybe let him land a little more to the side. And here too. Got a bit more space. Just finding, you know, this one is on 2, so let me, yeah, this is gimbal, man. Diameter, double body, like double torso root control, please. For this kind of motion, it's going to be very helpful. Or if there's any other, you know, if I do Shift E, it goes gimbal, but I then hit G, it will only in between your location. So that's a nice thing to kind of in between only one manipulator at a time. So it's actually so if you do the breakdowner or the blend to neighbor, so Shift E, and then hit G or S after. So let's say I hit Shift E, it's doing everything now. I hit R, or like G, it's only doing the location. Then I hit X or Y or Z, and it will only blend that specific channel. So in that way, you can really, you know, be nitpicky with your in-betweening. So it does. These in-betweens are terrible. It feels like it's speeding up actually. But hey, we can work with that. We can take a look at the curves, and you can clearly see it here. So it's hitting an apex, going faster, hitting another apex. So sorry if that doesn't make sense. Here I do want to already see some rotation going on. So because we're looking a little bit sideways, rotate his body a little bit more like that, so you do see a bit more rotation. Same here. We keep the same shape, but we do want to see a little bit more. And then we don't have a key. So let's... I mean, I do break the rig a little bit here. And then here we go to that 180 again. So this frame right here, push it back a bit, and 1, 2. Does this even make sense? I don't know. Let me actually... This is something dancers like ballerinas can do, but why not? If you can't break the rig and it feels good, so it doesn't feel good. I'm just thinking of he's gonna turn around. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I mean, slightly adjusting still. Okay, now let's add some bendiness to those arms. So there are moments here where I like it when it's actually having a little bit of a straight arc, wow, straight corner, straight lines, whatever. So let me actually turn on the stretch controls. And what it does, it gives you control over the actual bendiness. So for the bend controls, let me actually turn off everything else. And then, and this is, some people are going to hate me in the studio, but I'm keying everything. Sorry, Hjalti. I just want to not lose anything right here. So, and then suddenly he's complaining. Why is this scene so slow? He's keying unnecessary bones. Oh well. For now, let's. So, for instance, a pose like this, I'm not really happy with that. I'm just going to key some of the poses where I feel like some bends would be cool. So right here, I try to, you know, push you. And it's all like complementing the general motion. So right here, as you can see, it goes all the way here. And here, we're going to do what? Actually, push it a bit up there. He's going crazy. That's not even possible. Even here, I want that stretch to be. What is he even doing? It's a smear. So, just for that fast action, it's kind of goes through that action. And you see the arm is still broken here. So that's where we do not want a smear. So we kind of reset And when do you reset those bones? When you don't see it. So we go here. Actually here, when we're right behind. Alt G, Alt R, Alt S. Alt G is mean I reset the bones. So now it's back to normal. I do find this pose. Okay, we'll get back to that later. Same here, just adding a little bit of bends here, like that. And same goes for these guys. And actually the hand is dragging a bit behind, so let's go back to actually FK. And so when his body is coming up here, let that hand drag a little bit. So it snaps back. So maybe a little bit too much. Maybe just let it down. So it's going up, and then instead of going like this, we basically turn it inwards maybe a little bit like that. Okay, now same thing. There was one thing I wanted to change. It's these arms here. They're a little bit right here. And you know, you gotta train your eyes a little bit for it to see, okay, what else do I need to do? And it's a bit of a habit thing, but you try to spot the motion and the flow of things. And one of them is this arm right here. So it's coming down, it's coming from this point, and it's coming from this angle, from up straight, and then maybe even, you know, I'm breaking the arm here, by the way, but hey, just pushing it down a bit, pushing the shoulder down. I do want to set a key here. And then right here, even more. We want more bend. We basically want a screwdriver. So that's not a screwdriver. Wait a second. So you see, you follow this arm on the trajectory, then you kind of move this arm away, then this arm will kind of, and again, you know, I haven't fully posted out yet, so even those fingers are not. We got 5 more minutes. I don't mind this hand, but it's popping a bit now, maybe. It's not that poppy. It goes into this big motion, and then I do, yeah, it's this frames right here. Still feels a bit. stretch, IK. Man, I wonder if this even makes sense to you guys. All my rambling and so these arms right here, I still like from this moment, I wanted to feel a lot more like a screwdriver. Is that like a how do you even call it? Twist. Yeah, just a twist. So from here, this arm still stays behind. This arm goes in front here. We're breaking the rig once again. And then it flips back, hey? Oh, wait. Yeah, this is one of those, you see the arms are, okay. Let's move this back a little bit, and then I'm screwing up the rig here. Am I not? The amateur is crying right now. The rigger. How do you even animate my precious rig? This frame I like. Push his arms a bit further. And then they go up. Oh. I do get an error from YouTube right now. They're like, you're too boring. No, kidding. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Well, let's call it a day, guys. Let's see what we got here. Let's play and actually join. So this is what we end up in, well, I mean, 2.5 hours, let's say. That's actually, I'm pretty happy with that. We came a long way, didn't we? Let's do some questions. Any questions? Okay, let's see. What the hell is this? This, my friend, is Rex performing a screwdriver on ice. Rex should have at least 5 frames for the spin. Yeah, we do some in-betweening later on. What about overlapping? That overlapping action, well, small things like the Santa, the Santa hat and his hairs. That's something I do later on, just as a final pass. But I do want to already do some hand blocking that already kind of instigate overlapping action. So I do plan about it. Boop, boop, boop. How long does a film at Disney or Pixar take before it is published? Depends on how many animators you have. If you have an army of animators, I think the average is around 60 animators per show, and they work on a film like around 6 months to a year, I guess. And that's without pre-production. Great. Why Blender hard to learn? Isn't life? Life is hard to learn. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll call it a day. Thank you so much. I hope you liked it. And if you guys would like to see more of this, or even a finished stream, like finishing this animation and adding some extra extra details and polishing to it, splining it, that let us know, and I'm happy to join any stream. Any stream. What? See ya. Bye. Please show us more how you make models. We'll do that later. GPU description. How to become an animator. Start pushing keys around and you will learn. See you guys. Thank you.